So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first of Bold Moves Mondays. And today we are looking at reconnecting with your workplace to boost your confidence, because there's so many people, I think, right now, that could be struggling with this. I certainly hear it from people who I'm coaching who are struggling with their confidence, struggling to feel motivated. For various different reasons. We've obviously been through a lot of change in the last couple of years. So this morning, I really wanted to share some tips and some knowledge. And so you may be attending this and listening today for your own personal needs. Maybe it's something that you're personally thinking you could use help with. Or maybe you're listening to this as a leader and thinking about your teams and whether they're feeling all that confident at the moment. So let's get started then. So just a little bit, first of all, just to introduce you to Bold Moves Coaching for anyone who doesn't know us already. So my name is Liz Pollard. I'm the Managing Director for Bold Moves Coaching. And just wanted to share with you a little bit this morning, because you may be wondering what it is that we do, what type of coaching. So 3 types really. We work with people on their personal development, and who work with a lot of women actually that are leaders in the workplace or their own business owners as well, helping them with their confidence. And again, leadership development, so I can work with teams of leaders, helping them to work better together, helping them to improve employee engagement in their organisation. And then the third area is I work on business development. So I work with small business owners to help them to grow their business by making sure they've got the right things in place, and are they giving their employees the right opportunities to grow as well along with their business. And as I said, the things then that the work that I do helps people with is improving engagement of employees, so retaining the best people, getting those people to work well together and efficiently together. And also, ultimately, if their employees are happy, then they're more engaging with their customers as well. So the results that I get for clients are helping them to raise their profile. So maybe they're seen more online, or they're speaking at events and conferences, sharing their knowledge. Also helping them to keep the right people with a small business. In particular, it can be hard because the people working there might be wanting to move on for other opportunities. But what if we spent a lot of money investing in those people, or they're really good people and we don't want them to take their knowledge away with them? So talent retention is a big one. And then customer satisfaction, how do we make sure we're continuing to add value to customers? How do we make sure that we're continuing to provide a good service and keep that quality level up? So those are really the main things that I help people with. So talking about the workplace then, let's think about you and where are you working right now? So maybe you are back in the office, and I know some people have gone back into the workplace, and even that's not quite the same as it was, of course, 2 years ago, because their friend who they may be used to sit next to isn't sat there anymore. And maybe their boss isn't there now. Maybe their boss works from home. Or maybe yours is number 2 and you're working from a home office now. And that's quite new to you. It's sort of 12 months in. It might still feel a little bit unusual to you and the surroundings around you. Maybe you've got other people at home, other family members, which could cause distractions for you. And ultimately, you don't have your colleagues there to just ask a quick question or have a quick chat with over a coffee. Or maybe yours is number 3. It could be a hybrid of the 2. And I know many people are doing this now, and maybe they're spending 1 or 2 days in the office and the others at home or somewhere else, or out seeing customers. So I think it's a good idea to think about where you do work at the moment. So that's the first thing really, is to just think about for you, where is it? What is your workplace? And how connected are you with where you're working at the moment? Have you made it the best that it could possibly be for you? So if you're in the office, have you got all the things there that help you to feel like it's home? If you're at home, have you created a little space for yourself? I'm really lucky because we converted one of our spare rooms pre-COVID actually. So I'm really lucky because I've got a specific room in the house that is my office, but I'm aware that not everybody has that. So what have you currently got and how is it working for you is really the question. And I asked this question on LinkedIn recently, and I had 330 people who voted. And of those, 66% of people said that they're currently working from home. So that's over 2/3 of people are currently still working from home. And whether they're going to continue to do that or whether they're going to have to go back into the workplace, I'm not sure, but that's the current situation. So quite a lot of us are still working from home. So what are the facts then? What are some of the challenges that this is causing for businesses right now? Well, around 50% of workers say that they miss that social interaction, which isn't surprising, is it? Because as humans, we need that connection with other people. And less than 10% of staff say that they want to return to the office though. So they want to have some flexibility to maybe keep working from home. And maybe some people are quite happy working from home. Almost 50% of people are considering a job move soon. And I know if you are on LinkedIn, you might see, there's all the time, people coming up and saying they've got a new job or they're looking for a job. And I think with COVID and people spending time at home and, we've not been able to see our families and be connected with them. And it's maybe made us realize that we want a different way of life, we want to work differently. So around 50% of people are considering a job move soon, which is incredibly high. So if you're a leader in your organization, what can you do, to keep those people and stop them from thinking, oh, I need to move, I need to go somewhere else. And also 31% of people who do work from home have an unsuitable work setup at home. So that's, as I said before, thinking about if you do work from home, is it suitable for you? Or would you be more productive in the office or in a job that's in the office? So what do we actually want then? So when we think about connecting with our workplace, what is it that helps us to connect? Well, as we can see from this photo here, human connection is of course really important for us, and we're not talking about just seeing people. It's about that emotional engagement that we get from people when we have colleagues that become friends and we see them every day. It gives us that feeling of I belong here. This is like, this is where I'm meant to be. And when we don't see those people, we can end up feeling a little bit lost. So what we want is not just, being around people, but actually being around people who care about us and who we care about. And, so if we're at home and we don't have that, are we going to miss that long term? Or how else can we make that connection? So I think some of it, of course, is with social media these days. And some people are quite happy connecting with people over WhatsApp or over Zoom or Teams or FaceTime, and we can make the connection that way. But is it quite the same? So what do we actually want? And I think for you personally, if you want to reconnect with your workplace and boost your confidence, it's just to think about, what do you want? What works for you? And maybe you actually do work really well in solitude and, not having distractions around you. You're more productive, more effective. But how else then can you get that interaction from other people? If you're a small business owner running your own business like I am, then, that's great because, you've got that focus, you've got that productivity there. But maybe you need to get out and go and meet people for a coffee or go and do some networking to give you that connection. Because what emotional connection does is it boosts our energy. It gives us a boost of energy. And when we are feeling that energy, that's what boosts our confidence. And that's what helps us to feel motivated and loving what we do. So what's the reality for you as well then right now? So we've just thought about, what actually we do want it to look like. So now we're thinking about, so what does it look like right now? So what have you got around you? Have a look at where you're working at the moment. What's around you? What distractions have you got? What have you got there in terms of your setup, your desk? Is everything set up in a way that can help you to be productive, help you to feel confident? Are you cluttered or are you really organized? Have you got distractions such as family members? And, like in this photograph here, this woman's clearly brilliant at multitasking there, and I think some people that could be their reality right now. So if you're a leader in business, do you have some team members that are working from home and this is their reality? And if it is, what's the impact on them and their confidence? I heard a story recently. There was a lady who was trying to have a Zoom call with her boss. And in between, she kept getting interrupted all the time by a child. And, after 3 or 4 interruptions, he had to say to her, look, I'm really sorry, this isn't working. And we will have to have this conversation another time. So that could really be impacting on that lady, because she's thinking, oh, what's my boss going to think of me now? Am I going to get the sack? All of these thoughts and anxiety could be going through her head, and then she's not going to feel confident in a workplace. So what can we do as managers and as leaders, to help people to see that this is how you can perform at your best? These are some small changes that you could make, that will help you with that. And if your reality is that you're in the workplace, but you don't have a lot of your team around you and your manager's not around you, would you be better having a couple of days working from home where you can work on projects, where you can work a little bit in silo and have that headspace in a place where you do belong, your home? So what's the reality for you at the moment and how could you make it work for you? So when we think about not having social interaction, not having the right place, not having the right things around us, not feeling productive, not being able to talk to our manager, not knowing whether they think we're doing a very good job, knowing, do they trust us and why are they not in touch with us? Well, I'm not communicating with my team anymore. I don't see my team. What's the impact of this on people? Well, the impact really is about our engagement and feeling that connectedness with the other people around us, which in turn means that we're feeling disconnected with the workplace. And I think this is happening for lots of people at the moment. And with the small businesses that I work with, we get this feedback sometimes as well that, individuals and employees who are working there might be saying, it's not quite the same, culturally, it doesn't feel the same anymore. I miss my colleagues, I miss that social interaction. So they might be then, while they're working from home, starting to feel less valued. They're starting to feel, am I actually making a difference? Is my job role worth it? Or would I be better suited to something else? And then, of course, they're becoming disengaged, which impacts their confidence, impacts their ability to give their best at work. So their performance dips. And then we start to notice that. So as a leader, if you maybe notice that some of your team's performance is not as it normally is right now, or maybe their behaviors shifted a bit, it could be down to their confidence. So have the conversation with them, talk to them about how are they feeling about where they're working at the moment. Just look into this in a bit more depth. What could be causing this? So you may be familiar with this is the change curve by Kubler-Ross, which is from the 1940s, I think. So very, very old, but still very, very relevant. And I like this version because it's got the emojis on there and it helps us to see that change has an impact on our emotions, and it takes us up and down, up and down. So I've rechristened this now the Corona Coaster, because I think for the last couple of years, this is what it's been like for us, hasn't it? We've gone, started off on the left-hand side there, and I was in total denial before coronavirus hit, thinking, oh no, it won't happen to us. Seeing it on the news, people in Italy in lockdown. No, it won't happen to us. It won't come to the UK. And then the absolute shock when it did, and real utter panic, thinking, how is this going to impact on my business? And of course some anger, frustration coming out there, thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to manage? Trying to learn new things, then moving into transition into stage 2, thinking, right, okay, maybe I can use Zoom, maybe I can take my business online a bit sooner than I expected. Looking for ways to do that, trying to rapidly learn new ways of doing that, and then understanding that actually this is working, some optimism, maybe this is a good way forward, so some good benefits to this here, and committing fully to think, right, okay, this is the way I'm going now, hence the change that I've made with Bold Moves Coaching, moving into being an online coaching business. So in our own way, we've probably all been through these ups and downs over the last couple of years. And of course, that can then affect our connection with the workplace as well. So if you have had, for yourself or for your team, maybe you were working from home and then you had to go back into the office, and the way that was done, you felt like you were forced to do that. Maybe you resisted it. So therefore, when you did move back into the office, you didn't do it in a place of, I'm looking forward to this, I'm excited about it. Your emotions were negative, and you could have continued maybe on that downward spiral. And the same could be true for your employees. So think about, was it their choice to go back into the office? And then if they've made that choice, are they entirely happy with it? Or maybe they've moved back to working in the office, but they're wishing they could still spend some time at home. So think about, could that be possible for them? Again, it's all about having the conversation. So to another model then, emotional connection is key for confidence and motivation. So here we have Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs, which again, you can look up and research yourself. It's a very well-known model in leadership. And I just wanted to run this through really and just see how it links to where we're at really at the moment. So down at the bottom of the pyramid is when we're in survival mode. And, Maslow talks about this as being the very basic needs for us as human beings. It's shelter, it's food, it's water. So thinking about that from a workplace perspective is, do we feel, that at the workplace, have we got all those things? Is it meeting our needs wherever our workplace is? And last year, when COVID was really bad and we were in lockdown right at the very start, we probably were all in survival mode because we just wanted to make sure that, the end of the day, we didn't get COVID, it didn't negatively impact us and our family. So we were very much in that survival mode. So therefore, we're right down at the bottom of the pyramid. We're not even thinking about, how can I do better at work? How can I raise my performance? It's just not a factor. So when things start to improve and the workplaces start to open up again, but we kept the use of masks, hand gel, maybe there was less people allowed in the office, we might be starting to think, okay, things are getting a little bit more back to normal now. And we had the term, didn't we, new normal. So we move up then to the kind of security. And this means that we're starting to feel, actually, do I feel a bit more secure now I'm going into the office? Maybe I'm starting to see my colleagues, I'm starting to see my boss. My job is feeling fairly secure, but I'm not 100% secure in where I'm working, because there's lots of changes going on in my company and where I work. Lots of people are now not here. Some people are now working from home. So I feel a little bit unsteady. Yes, so the security is not quite there. So if we're in that security mode, as you can see over on the left-hand side there, we're not engaged. So we're like the hamster on the wheel. We're just going in, doing the job, going home. We're not thinking about staying after work. We're not thinking about going the extra mile. We're not really interested in our job all that much. We're just there to make sure that we're keeping the wages coming in. And, probably at that stage, if another job came along, we might very well be looking and thinking, maybe I'd be better suited somewhere else. So going up the pyramid then to the next level in green there, we've got belonging. Now, this is really the key area. And in a workplace, in normal circumstances, most people will be in this stage. So most people, probably about 30–40%, of people might be here in the belonging stage right now in your workplace, because things have shifted. And so, that means that you might still have 20–30% people not engaged or disengaged, or as per the facts before, it could be up to 50% of people that are there that are thinking, I'm looking for another job. So how do we get those people from survival and security mode up to belonging, and they're being almost engaged? So we'll look at that in a short while, but I think some of the things are having one-to-ones with them regularly as a manager, whether that's online or face-to-face if you can, as much as you can, have that connection with your employees, whether it's once a week, or even twice a week. Talk to them, and not just about work, not just about what have you done this week. Don't make it feel like we don't trust them and that we're wanting to know what have you been doing all day or what have you been doing all week. Ask them how they are, how are they feeling, are they happy, how are they feeling about their job right now. Ask them these emotional questions, and that will mean that they'll feel more connected with you as a relationship, because our relationship with our line manager is one of the key drivers for emotional engagement at work. So doing that is one of the ways that we can help people to feel like they belong. The other thing that we can do is help them to connect more with a team. So try and see ways that you can bring your team together more. Maybe you give them a project to work on together. Let them own it. Let them discuss it together. So they're constantly having to communicate, work on things together. That will increase their feeling of being valued. It will increase their commitment. It will increase their collaboration and improve relationships with their team, because they'll have to be speaking to them regularly. So those are a couple of things that you can do to help people to move up into feeling like they belong again in the workplace. Even if they're not going into work, help them to connect. Up there at stage number 2 then in blue, we've got feeling important. So, this is a higher level, definitely. And it says, of course, here 2 and 3, so importance and belonging, have a direct impact on engagement, and they can be moved up by 4 enablers of engagement. So one of those is what we've just discussed, a relationship with our immediate line manager. The second enabler of engagement is belief in your senior team. So do you see your senior team? Are you hearing them talk about the organization, where it's going? What's the vision? What's the plan for 2022, 2023? Share those with them. The third enabler of engagement is employee voice. So are you giving your employees an opportunity to share their ideas, talk about their concerns? Have you done a survey, or have you done a focus group? Maybe your managing director or CEO could do an online State of the Nation or town hall, whatever you call it, some kind of briefing to your employees. This is how we're doing as an organization. And the fourth driver of engagement is all about integrity for your organization, which is the values. And a lot of the time we see the values and behaviors from the people in the workplace, like our managers and our leaders. We see how they behave, and that's how we understand what the values of the organization. But if we're not seeing them, we can struggle with that. So if we want to get people to feel important, involve them, ask for their input, see what they think, give them opportunities for growth, let them feel involved, and people will start to feel more important, and you'll see the difference in their performance because their motivation levels will go through the roof. And up at the top here, highly engaged, we call it self-actualization, or Maslow did, which basically means that you are loving what you're doing, you're making a difference, you're making an impact in the workplace, and at the same time, your performance is going up as well. So as it says here, on average, less than 15% reach this level. I think at the moment it's probably going to be a lot less than that as well, because this is an older diagram. So, people are highly engaged, they love what they do, they love where they work, they're flying high. So to get people to that level, they need to be inspired to help themselves and others to do their best as well. So we can give people opportunities to mentor other people. We can give them opportunities to, to do something that's going to make a difference. Maybe they're going to get involved in a charity event and these types of things, just to get them highly engaged in your organization. So those are some tips really, and just a very brief run through Maslow and where the different levels are. So think about where you currently are. So, are you engaged? Are you almost engaged? What could you do to improve your engagement levels? And equally, what could you do for your team as well? Do they feel like they belong in your team at the moment? So what can you do then? So this is just a summary really of what I've just been saying. So firstly, listen to your employees. What is working and what's not working right now? So you could do a pulse survey, or, you could just ask them it in general via a one-to-one, via a team meeting, as I say, via a company-wide briefing is a good idea, because then if somebody does ask a question or share their ideas, everyone else will hear that as well. Secondly, make decisions at board level, because what this does is it creates cultural change in your business. So the difference there would be, say if you've got departments in your business that are saying, oh, well, all our team are going to go and work in the office now together, full time. And then other teams might be thinking, well, why has my boss not done that for us? Why is it just that team that's doing that? And people can become disengaged when that happens. So at the moment, try and make decisions at board level so that culturally everybody's the same and it helps them to feel connected. Thirdly, do your research, see what other companies are doing, check on LinkedIn, go to networking events, ask people questions that see what they're doing to reconnect their employees, because we're all in the same boat, aren't we? This is new for everyone. And the fourth one, don't try and please everyone or you end up pleasing no one. So, so if you've got, there might be just one person in your team that's really not happy about going back into the office. So you think, right, well, none of us will go back in then. But it's kind of unfair, isn't it, really, in a way, to do that? So sometimes there's going to be somebody who's unhappy, unfortunately, but better to go with the majority of what your team want. Prepare to be flexible with hybrid working as well. So, sometimes maybe somebody's going to work in the office for 4 days a week and spend 1 day a week at home. but one week they might say, oh, do you know what, I've got a project I'm working on, I'd really like to spend 2 or 3 days at home. So prepare to have some flexibility around your policy for hybrid working, because that is something that will engage people, and it will make them feel, like, oh, I'm really pleased my company is being flexible for me. They're going to feel like engaged, they're going to feel loyal to you. And finally, make sure you're providing safe options for office working when required. So have you still got all the safety in place? Have you still got the wipes there? Have you still got the hand gel? Is there still options to wear a mask, for when required? Or also, if there is a situation where, as at the moment, the numbers are going up in terms of cases, can we say, right, okay, well, actually, if you want to work from home, you can do if you feel safer. So just be flexible is all I'm saying around those things, because all of it helps. So what will you do then? So in terms of what you've learned from this webinar today, what are some things that you could do differently? So if it's just for yourself, how can you feel more connected? What's some things that you could do? If you're working from home, could you spend half a day in the office sometimes? Could you have more one-to-ones or coffee catch-ups with other people in your team? If you're in the office, could you do more of that as well? If you've got people who are working at home, how can you connect with them? How can you help them to feel more part of your team, feel more comfortable, want to maybe come into the office? And if you're a leader in your organization, what are you going to do to reconnect your employees so that they don't fly off, somewhere else? What can you do so that they feel more confident in their current working situation, and that they feel like they're doing the good thing? Because when we're not visible, when we don't think our bosses can see us, we might start thinking, well, maybe they think I'm not doing a very good job. I'm not hearing from them. No one seems to be that much, bothered about what I'm doing. I'm not being challenged. I'm not being asked anything new to do. I'm not being pushed outside my comfort zone. So what could you do to reconnect your employees so that they do feel more confident? Something to think about. And more than happy for you to, send me your suggestions as well. You can email me, or you can, can get in touch. More than happy for you to do that. So if you have any questions, please do drop me a line, things about how you can personally reconnect. If you're struggling with your confidence and have some questions around that, you can message me. And here's my contact details. If you want to get involved and join the Bold Moves community, make sure that you can join up and attend more of these free Bold Moves Monday workshops, then send me an email and I'll add you to the mailing list. You can send me a tweet, you can connect with me on Instagram. I'm always on the stories on there, and we provide a lot of content and value on LinkedIn as well, so you can join the Bold Moves coaching community on LinkedIn too. We do have coaching programs coming soon, so if you get involved in the community, you'll find out about those too. So thank you very much for listening today, and I would love to hear your feedback and what you're doing in your business to make bold moves. So do drop me a line and get in touch. Take care, have a great day.